at times played the Spot the Special Branch game here before. And we are no stranger to Special Branch visitors. One of the strange things, of course, that we constantly, you know, not strange, but understandable thing is, a lot of people constantly ask us, are you not afraid, you know, of doing these things? And I keep asking them back, so what is the Special Branch going to do to us if we do this, if we screen this film, if we talk about this? There's because I think the roles of the Special Branch has become so vague and so you know, at the same time, I mean specific to them, but vague to the public, that people are just filled with this fear, right? That anything that is counter or anything that smells of anti-government will necessarily, you know, you need to be afraid of it. You need to be afraid of articulating this. My mother is constantly telling me to lower my voice when I speak about these things in public. Yeah, we'll have dinner and I'll tell her about birthday, or we'll be at dinner and I'm talking about this, and she said, talk softly, you don't know who's at the next table. Yeah, and no, so it's so it's so effective, right? This program, you know, that the general public who don't understand it, right, feels it so effectively that nothing is done. People complain maybe at the mama and then don't do anything about it, you know. Because there's this sense that you can just be taken in for anything, yeah. So on next to Mr. Kee Tuan Chai. Kee Tuan Chai is a playwright who's written very political plays in his time, from 1984 Here and Now to your Singapore. Yeah, we could 4*U Mr. Birch. Yeah, is it 4, right? Yeah, 4 asterisks. So Mr. Kee Tuan Chai will tell us his views on human rights situation in Malaysia.
Thank you, Bang. Thank you. I guess, you know, Bang, there is some wisdom in what your mother says in telling you not to speak so loudly, because it's true. You never know who might be at the next table. I'm reminded of a friend, well, yeah, this person is, well, someone I know, who was once called in for questioning by the police and Special Branch. And first they started asking her simple questions and all that, and then later on they started revealing very intimate things about herself that she never could have imagined anyone would know. She was shocked, you know. So to this day, of course, she still doesn't know how they came, you know, to get hold of such information. I would imagine perhaps Special Branch found this out from talking to her friends, perhaps. So, which is why I'm now very wary about what I tell my friends, you know, especially about my love for the government. So yeah, I think you should heed your mother's advice. I'm also reminded of this friend who is a journalist, and about 25 years ago, he started being tailed. And just recently he told me that this kind of thing is still going on. He's being watched. I don't know why, because for 25 years he has not practiced journalism because he was not allowed to practice it. There was even a time when his passport was taken away from him. But even till today, you know, this is happening. Earlier, Pang said to me that for this talk, perhaps what we should discuss is the possibility of the arts community promoting awareness of this kind of thing happening. But the thing is, if you were to try and look for evidence, documented evidence of what people have gone through at the hands of the special branch or whatever secret police organization that we have here, you'd be hard put to find much evidence. You know, I mean, I can't think of anybody who has actually made a film like the one that you saw, The Lives of Others. I can't think of people who have written plays about direct experience of having been hounded by the secret police, by the special branch, or having been taken into detention. And even among those people who have been through detention under the Internal Security Act, I can't think of people who have written explicitly about their experiences. Yes, we have had Kwa Kia Sung write about it. We've had Syed Hussein Ali write about it. There was another one, an early one, Ahmad. This was during Tunku's time when he was held under the ISA. I can't remember his name now. He was a minister at one time. And he brought out a book, Tetamu Khas, Special Guest. But they don't tell you explicitly what they went through. So, if you are, let's say, a playwright who wants to write a play about this kind of experience, you wouldn't know where to go. You wouldn't know where to begin. And if you write from second-hand material, it's not quite truthful, you know, it's not quite real. So there's perhaps, you know, watching the movie makes me also wonder whether in Malaysia we have such close surveillance on any individual, such for a prolonged period of time. I don't know. Perhaps someone in the audience might be able to share it with someone from the special branch. Are Malaysians ever subject to this kind of surveillance? Well, I think, you know, I've had no first-hand experience of coming across people who can say that they've had. The other thing also is, if you are a playwright who decided to write a play about such a subject, what are the chances of your getting it staged? I can speak about my own experiences staging plays, and there was one occasion when I was acting in a one-man play called The Coffin is Too Big for the Hole, which was actually a Singaporean play written by Koh Pao Kun, which, I mean, if you were to look at it, there was hardly anything truly controversial about it. Well, not to Malaysians anyway. It's about a man who's trying to bury his grandfather, and he couldn't do so because the coffin was too big for the hole, because it was a traditional kind of coffin. And in Singapore, they have all these compartmentalized burial plots. And if you have a coffin that is bigger than the plot, you cannot bury it. What's so sensitive about that, right? What is so objectionable? And yet, you know, we had, of course, to submit for a staging permit. And in those days, the permit would, the application would go to City Hall, and it would also go to the special branch. Because, you know, the police, they are experts on culture. And they have the final say, you see. And for that particular production, after we had, you know, rehearsed for about 6 weeks or more, we still hadn't got the permit. Our producer went to City Hall and, you know, kept bugging them, but, you know, they said, sorry, we don't know, we haven't heard from the police yet, this and that. And only a few hours from opening night, they came back to us and said, no, you cannot stage it. And they don't have to give you a reason. So people came to the venue, and they had to be turned away. Another experience that I personally encountered was I was directing a play called Madame Mao's Memories, which was also a one-woman play, and it was about Madame Mao, Jiang Qing. It had nothing to do about promoting communism. It was about her life, really. Again, after 6 weeks of rehearsal, they came back to us and said, no, you cannot stage it. So that's another problem that we would face in the artistic community. Or if you try to make a film like The Lives of Others, for instance, you can bet that the film censorship board will come down on you. You won't see the light of day. But in any case, for all that we say, for all that we try to do, by and large, I think many Malaysians don't care anyway. Well, you know, I mean, just to give you a very simple example, the recent peaceful assembly bill that was rushed through Parliament and, you know, made into law, you know, in the blink of an eye. How many people really cared about it? How many people even knew what it was all about? I was in 2 demonstrations to protest against that peaceful assembly bill, so I could see firsthand what the situation was. In the first demonstration, there were only about 300 people. This was at the KLCC Park. And in the second demonstration, which was organized by the Bar Council, there were about 2,000 people. Half of them were lawyers. But when I looked around, I saw the people attending were the same faces, you know, the same people who would show up at demonstrations, the usual suspects. And we were supposed to march from Lake Club to Parliament. So I parked my car at the Lake Club. Not my car, somebody else's car. She had a sticker. So as we were coming out of the Lake Club to go towards the meeting place, I saw this woman. She looked, you know, nicely dressed. She was middle class, upper middle class, whatever. So I asked her, hey, come join us lah for the demonstration. And she said, what is it about? So I said, it's about the peaceful assembly bill. Huh? What's that? Huh? So I said, you don't know about the peaceful assembly bill? No, she hadn't heard of it. So I said, come, it's very important for you to protest against it because it's going to impinge on your freedom. She said, no, I'm going for lunch at the Lake Club. I said, don't worry about lunch now. I mean, lunch is not so important. Your freedom is more important. She said, never mind lah, you can represent me. So you see, lunch is more important than freedom, so what can I say? Yeah, so on that score, I think I'll stop there, and if there, perhaps we can talk more in the Q&A. Thanks.
And